Whew, long day. Was recently reminded of the Jocko podcast thing on radical ownership, and it reminded me of a couple other realizations I had, and it really puts me back into I don't want to say, well, I guess being hard on myself, expecting more of myself, I guess, is the right way to put it. Particularly as it applies to the work that I do. Understanding what your responsibilities are and understanding what you can do to improve things beyond just doing the minimum or going a little above, really, really becoming that clutch player. And I was kind of reminded of this in working on the it's like a big wheel Razor scooter. I think the Razor scooters are constructed entirely by or were designed by skinned knee doctors or something, and broken wrist doctors, but something like that with a bigger wheel would be much more reliable as far as going over little bumps. It's like longboard wheels versus regular, tricky skateboard wheels. Anyways, so I'm like, I'm really easy to get caught up in the day-to-day, like just to get into a rut of the daily activities, and I think I need to just change up my time so that it's more segmented, so that during a certain period, and I'm sure I read this somewhere in one of the many self-help or self-improvement books, segmenting a time out for the big picture stuff, the long view improvement things that improve the process, things that improve the company, things that improve the workflow significantly but require focused work and time. So it's pretty easy to get stuck in the day-to-day stuff that, that kind of thing can wait a day, but there's always stuff that will take precedent. And if it's I guess it's always like a reactive versus proactive thing. So being reactive on it, there's always going to be work you can do that's moderately important or actually important, but there's no work so important as developing the big picture, because that's the stuff that actually pays off. There's a phrase that it's referred to as, and I'm blanking on it, but having something like this, and this worked beautifully, by the way, today actually. I kind of want to tweak it a little bit more. I've already got some improvements that I'm going to build into the code, but so this little momentary button, I haven't changed it out to a key press yet, like a mechanical key yet, but I wanted to be able to press it more easily. So I'm like, I need like a paddle to push over it so that the target is a lot larger, so I can just kind of smack it with my hand or hit it with the side of my hand, and really easy to press. So I had a floppy disk. I had a couple floppy disks that I've been using. We have some old systems, and the floppy disk was like sitting right there, so I'm like, I could just kind of put it right there. So I kind of leaned it so it was right up against that button on the top, and then I put some tape on it so it was kind of held in place, and then I could just smack the floppy disk and it would press the button. So one of the things that I was actually using it for was to hit save on these non-converted Excel files. So like you hit save, and then it's like, are you sure you want to convert? And you hit yes, and then it says, are you sure some data might be lost? And you hit yes. And I can't convert them, so I'm sitting there clicking yes multiple times, and I'm like, oh wait, I'll just use the auto mouse for it. So I'm literally hitting a floppy disk in order to save my files, and it was just, oh man, it was too much. Goodness, what on earth was I talking about? Okay, Oh, right. So, like, something like that dramatically cuts down on the time. And there are some tools that I could put together that would cut down on the day-to-day activities, but it takes time to develop them. And spoiler alert, if you develop them 0 hours a day at a time, they'll never get done. It's true. So if you even put 15 minutes into it, and I'm talking about doing like probably the last couple hours of the day is probably a good bet. Take those last couple hours and set that aside for big picture, developmental stuff. Anything that improves the long term, stuff like that, to just streamline things. Or change the whole way the process is done. I have a number of processes that could probably be significantly improved, but I have to write proposals for them and make things that would make things more official so that I could present them so that people could review them. But otherwise you're just spinning your wheels. And that's the radical accountability. And for anyone who hasn't caught that vlag, whatever I call it, it was called, you could probably look it up, I'll probably link it in the description, but it was something to the effect of how to change the world at your work, or how to change the world at your job. And it's about realizing the potential that you have to improve the company by realizing how much you could actually cripple the company. Understanding that if you have this much power in this direction, you have equally that much power in the other direction. I'm not saying it's easy. You gotta, especially depending on your position, you have to push in different ways and talk to different people, and there's politics and stuff like that, but at least you're pushing, and you're becoming more valuable to the company. And that's always a good bet with the, is that, oh wow, I think my stick shift decal is wearing off, like it might come off. Okay, the point is, you can do more to help the company stay viable, to help the company save money. And by doing that, you not only improve the company, you also improve your future at the company. You improve the profitability of the company, which improves the company's future just in general. And you make yourself more valuable to the company, and you feel better doing it. That's the thing. Because when you're not good at stuff, when you're not good at your job, you don't feel good about yourself. And when you do stuff that makes you better, this is the entire thing, is you're stepping out of your comfort zone, you're stepping out of your assigned work activities, you're not doing the bare minimum, you're not even doing a minimum, you're going beyond, and then you're going above and beyond. So, I mean, I don't want to say you need to give 110% grit and all that, but you do literally need to give more than you're currently giving right now. And there's arguments about time and how you harvest more time so that you can devote it to these bigger developmental ideas. And that's where it's the productivity thing. That's where the keyboard comes in. That's where auto hotkey comes in. That's where mouse automation comes in. It's where you figure out ways to get more work done. And again, while you're doing this, while you're becoming more valuable to the company, when you accomplish more, you feel better about yourself. You feel better about your employment opportunities. You feel better about that lady that's probably going to drive out in front of you, but she stops at the last minute. You feel better about all these things, and it's good. It's good for everyone. I mean, that's the goal. That's the object, is to use tools to let the computer do more work for you. And that's why I'm not technically a keyboard guy. That's why I'm making this stuff. I'm an input guy. I'm about input devices, because I want my interface with this magic box we call a computer that helps me get work done and helps me correlate information and sublimates my sublimates? Hopefully it doesn't sublimate my brain. My head would explode. It supplements my my productivity, supplements my brain Such That I'm a Cyborg. I think I have that vlog. I'll probably post that one in the description too. You know, I'm using this to help me more, to help me remember things, to help me get more stuff done, and to help me finish the work that I am doing faster, because it gives me more time to do other things. And as I usually say, whether that other things is browsing more Facebook, which don't do that, or getting more work done, you know, especially if you're in an industry where you're measured by your output. I mean, come on, the amount of calls that you make, the amount of data that you input. I mean, you should be accomplishing double of what you were doing manually. I mean, come on. And that's purely more money for you. If you're in that kind of industry, that's purely more money. And I don't know why you wouldn't do it. I really don't. So, this is a lot of stuff. It just reminds me that, you know, whenever I'm getting bogged down in the day-to-day, I'm failing the company and I'm failing myself. You know, accomplishing the same thing that you accomplished yesterday, today, doing the bare minimum, doing 100%, it doesn't get you further. It doesn't help. It is spinning wheels. And if you don't do it, then who's going to do it? You know? You're the one that lives with yourself. You're the one that has to deal with yourself. You're the one that has to look at yourself in the mirror. And you're the one that has to understand and be real with yourself when stuff happens at the company and, oh, well, they're downsizing, and, well, they just let you go because you just weren't that particularly valuable. And you can argue about it, and you can make excuses, and you can go, well, you know, maybe they should have, and, you know, mankind will someday recognize my genius. Or you can start now and do more. Because all of that stuff, even the productivity stuff, even if the company that you work for sucks and you don't like it, if you increase your productivity 50% or double it, that's stuff that carries on to the future. That carries on in confidence in your work history. I mean, it carries on in confidence while you're talking interviews for the next job, and it carries on in work history, because those are, you know, measurable metrics. That's good stuff. People want to know about that. Future employers want to know about that. But it's just better for everyone. I don't know why you wouldn't do it. I feel like people get caught up in this trap, and I think it's an imposed trap. I think it's I don't know what it is. It's some kind of wizardry. But it's the idea. It's the us versus them. It's the workers versus management. It's I'm not going to give. You know, I do the bare minimum to not get fired, and my boss pays me the bare minimum so that I don't quit. Again, I've said this before, it helps no one. That's poison for everyone involved. Don't be there. Don't be there. Don't be there. And if your boss hates your guts, double your productivity. He'll sing a new tune. You know, I have talked about this in one of the other videos. I'm sure you'll find it. I'm pretty sure it's in one of the descriptions, but like, your boss is, except in very specific cases, your boss should be your friend. Your boss should be the guy that you come to and say, how can I help you? What can I do today to make your life easier? Because that guy is the guy that is relying on you. And when he knows that you have you have his back, then he's happier with you. And he wants you to succeed. He wants to push you forward. He wants to give you the raise. And then when you go to him and you say, hey, look, man, you know, this is not negotiating. This is not negotiating. This needs to be truth. Negotiation is also poison. Negotiating is poison. Don't do that. Don't equivocate like that. When you go to your boss and you say, hey, you know, my skills have increased. I'm up. You know, people are sending me emails. I'm viable for someone who's making more money. And, you know, I like it here. I like working with you. I like working with these people. I'm doing good work here. You know, I've been here. I know it's good. But I'm just thinking about these other places right now because I got to do what's important for my future, for my family, for my whatever. they respect that. They understand that. And if the answer is, we can't pay you more, I'm very sorry, you know, we'll have you as long as we can have you, but when you have to go, you know, we'll really miss you, then that's just fine. But that also opens up the opportunity for the answer to be, no, you go. No, you go. For the that opens the opportunity for the answer to be, okay, well, you know, I'll see what I can do. You know, people say that they can't give raises, but when you are making your boss's life easier, things suddenly start to happen. You know, that kind of thing. And I'm saying all this. This is from my my history. I'm very, very blessed to be working where I'm working right now. So this stuff, you know, it pushes me, especially the company that I'm at, it pushes me to be better and to do better and to accomplish more and to secure the future of this company more, and therefore, in total self-interest, secure the future of my job. You know, the important thing is keeping the doors open, and understanding that that is partly your responsibility is a big deal. You know, if you have coworkers that you like, if you have friends there, they want the doors to be open too. So what can you do in your tiny portion of that company, or medium-sized portion of that company, or even large portion of that company, to improve the likelihood that that will happen? Go, 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 go. I'm playing through. They're playing horse over there or something like that in the street. So it's not humbling, I guess. Humbling is not the right word. It's just it's checking me. It's checking my spirit here. It's checking my productivity. It's checking my heart. I don't know what it's checking. Chickadee, check yourself and all that stuff. I hope all that made sense, because I kind of forgot how I started this. All right, bye.